This is what theaters look like across the world, and it just keeps getting worse. The memes. Let's say that you were in a Hollywood movie, and the trailer for that movie dropped on YouTube, and it instantly became the #1 most downvoted trailer in the history of the platform.
See the other side. What's the dwarf?
Dwarf refers to a person with one of several varieties of a specific genetic condition called dwarfism. A dwarf has disproportionate body parts.
From the moment word spread of a live-action Snow White adaptation, people sensed both a bold opportunity and a looming risk for Disney. This was a studio banking on its classic animated legacy and well-worn nostalgia, but almost immediately, there were rumblings that key ingredients that made the original 1937 film so timeless were being lost.
How it was so outdated and how Rachel Zegler disrespected the original and a classic from Walt Disney, something that completely saved Disney and changed the company and changed animation in general.
Longtime fans worried that reinventing the story to fit modern sensibilities might cross a line, stirring up more controversy than excitement.
And now as Disney desperately tried to do a PR spin job in the final months to make it look like Rachel Zegler is actually likable, it ultimately was a complete failure.
And by the time the new version hit theaters, it was obvious their apprehension was on target. Ticket sales fell flat, and reviewers from major publications to online analysts panned nearly every facet of the production.
Theaters are, of course, entirely empty. Do you understand that having people buy tickets is an important part of success in your industry?
Disney's returning CEO, Bob Iger, was already juggling a host of problems before Snow White even debuted. Theme park attendance wasn't on track to match historic highs. Streaming services were hemorrhaging money, and creative decisions were consistently under the microscope. So the stakes were monumental. With major names like Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot headlining, Disney seemed confident it could capture both fresh audiences and longtime devotees. Yet the film quickly became labeled a disappointment at the box office. An awkward fate for something rooted in the very foundation of Disney's animated empire. Controversy swirled around the film's massive departures from what made the classic Snow White iconic in the first place. Audiences can be open to updates, but this adaptation appeared to veer too far from the core fairy tale structure. The dwarves, the famous princess archetype, and even the look and feel of the world they inhabit all underwent changes that left die-hard fans baffled or outright annoyed. Worse still, many critics pointed out that even aside from questionable storytelling decisions, the technical execution just wasn't inspiring. Direction, cinematography, and overall tone felt middling, lacking the polish one expects from a high-profile Disney production. In the center of this storm was Rachel Zegler, whose growing fame placed her at a new level of public scrutiny. Even for a rising talent with prior accolades, Snow White brought an intensity she might not have been fully prepared for.
She continued celebrating herself by posting that she's in the #1 movie in the world, which is a remarkable thing to post when you are the laughingstock of an entire industry. This is what narcissism looks like. Narcissism for 200.
Fans and insiders alike were quick to gossip about possible repercussions for her career, including rumors of being dropped from notable future roles. Whatever the truth, it was clear that the fallout from Snow White was more than a minor stumble for a young actress. Disney, meanwhile, found itself grappling with negative press and underwhelming box office returns at exactly the wrong time, putting its leadership in a precarious spot. All of these tensions between reworking a classic versus respecting its legacy, between meeting modern expectations versus alienating core fans, cast a huge shadow over Snow White's release. Disappointment permeated every discussion, from fans who felt they'd been robbed of the story's traditional charm to skeptics who found even the film's most publicized updates uninteresting. This convergence of storytelling missteps, corporate challenges, and public relations blunders made it one of Disney's more turbulent rollouts in recent memory. But when all is said and done, the film's rocky journey reflects wider shifts in Hollywood and audience attitudes. Social media has intensified the spotlight on creative choices and star behavior, making it easier than ever for disenchanted viewers to voice their displeasure. Successful adaptations may need to navigate these sensitivities more carefully, balancing the essence of a cherished original with just enough fresh perspective to excite new generations. If those scales tip too far, fans quickly voice their outrage, and modern controversies can overshadow even the mightiest brand. On the flip side, blockbuster misfires are sometimes just a single chapter in a much longer story for both actors and studios. Disney has rebounded from shaky box office results before, and star performers have weathered harsh press to find success down the road. Whether Rachel Zegler ultimately recovers and whether Disney rethinks its approach to reimagining classics remains to be seen. One miscalculation doesn't doom a studio or a star for good, but Snow White has certainly shown how fragile enthusiasm can be when audiences feel a project ignores everything that made the original a phenomenon. For viewers who once adored the classic film, this adaptation's reception might serve as a reminder. Not every reboot is guaranteed to dazzle, especially if it treads too heavily on treasured memories. Even so, the industry moves forward, and there will always be new attempts at bringing legendary stories to life. Time will tell if the lessons from this Snow White debacle prompt a more careful, more respectful handling of Disney's beloved tales, or if this will stand as just another cautionary anecdote in Hollywood's evolving relationship with its own history.